All right, good afternoon. This is Matt with Cooler. I've got another R&D scenario that I want to play out on the video for you guys. So if you check any of our other YouTube videos, we've got some of these already in play. I've done one probably a couple years ago now. One was just a month or two ago. And I'm testing out wood overlays. Today I've got metal overlays as well. So the reason we're switching these up is I've got a couple of different overlays that are honestly in some failure mode, and it really kind of got our attention. Now, what I say that is we're putting together these custom door overlays on top of a metal garage door panel that's fully insulated. It gives massive value for those homes that really want the aesthetic of wood, but the performance of a polyurethane insulated sandwich steel garage door. Especially for our area in the winters, it can get ridiculously cold here. So the warmth is really needed, actually. And one of the things I've been talking about with my carpenter is staining these boards fully. And does the glue really adhere to a stained board? So we're gonna find out. What I've got is just a raw board up here. This is pure cedar. This here has the back of it cleared with a shellac. This one has a fast drying polyurethane, so this is an oil based. This is a water based polyurethane, and this is polyacrylic. So for our work, we want something that's going to cure quick, so we don't have to wait super long for these materials to cure out before gluing. And we want this bond to be absolutely solid. Now, we have seen an influx of really, part of my French, shitty wood that came out in last fall. The supply chain got really bundled. I think that some of the suppliers were skipping the kiln, sending out boards just to fill orders without really thinking through how that would impact. So some of these doors that we have out there that we're seeing cracking on and warping, it's really hard position because I really can't warranty woods. But some of these are happening so fast that I'm really warranting woods. They're south facing, so they're getting some really direct sunlight up in the mountains, and some of these have dark stains on them, so they're adding heat, and this influx of heat cold is really causing havoc on these woods that are coming from what I think are just shitty supply chain. They're trying to pump out green woods, or they're skipping the kiln like I mentioned, and it's causing some havoc. So it's got us into some R&D work, because maybe if we seal all of this, and it's a piece that I've offered as a value add, so I want to make sure that we're sealing it correctly and we get these boards 100% sealed up as we cut them, as we mold them onto position. So anyway, neither here nor there, let's break some shit. So I'm just going to do a couple of different tests. I'm going to go try a shear test, and then we'll do a pull test on each one of these. The raw wood is just up on top. When I hit it like that, I don't exactly know how much force I'm doing, but it's significant. Like, I'm trying to replicate an average garage door day. And so if I'm a kid, I'm kicking a ball or something's happening, this is something that's lower than a car impacting the doors, but I'm significant. It's my favorite hammer. It's my ball peen. I've had this thing for years. I don't know where it came from. Maybe one of my grandpa's, or it's a classic. It's got good weight to it. I'm putting some leverage on this, and I'm hoping that none of these actually move. So none of those moved at all, which is cool. I'll talk about metal here in a little bit. This will be a little bit longer video. Grab a drink or something, hang out for a little bit. So we're getting very little movement. I haven't seen anything move on that. And you know, when we look at the raw, this is kind of our standard. As a pull test. So I've got a lot of glue here. There's tiny little bit of wood grains on the door itself. It had a good bond. I honestly had it pulled pretty good. I would like to see some more wood grains. So even in the raw, You know, I think there could be a little bit better performance, but the glue is on the board for sure. And we have good bondability here. I'm not testing glues today like I've done. Check out the other videos for that. All I'm testing is the adhesion of our favorite glue. I'm not going to tell you that right now. On some sealed surfaces. So this shellac worked very similar to the raw. And again, you know, the glue is bonded to the board. That's with the Minwax fast drying oil. So I'm not concerned with the glue adhering to the board at all. Water-based polyurethane, again, adhesion to the board, not an issue. And again, with the polyacrylic clear flat, water-based, not an issue adhering to the board itself. So what we're seeing is, you know, some adhesion to the metal, but the metal is breaking the bond first. So really, my conclusion to all this is it doesn't matter. Really, as long as the product is cured out, the back of the board could be sealed. That can give a little bit more certainty to that board, maybe not moving, maybe not splitting as quick as it might. Not protected, but the bondability with all that stuff on the woods is good. Okay, so now I'm going to switch gears. Maybe we'll edit this for different videos, but right now it's just going to be a long video. Metal overlays. What we started to do is do a non-fastener metal overlay. I haven't done it until this year, and it was actually a tour of A1 and meeting Luke down there that really inspired me to dig deep onto adhesives. So I got different adhesives. This is a Titebond subfloor. This is our PL3X Premium. This one is contact adhesive from 3M. And this is a polyurethane industrial adhesive. So we've already done some testing on this. We've got our game down pretty dialed. I'm just doing this for your reference because this is part of our R&D. Now what we have is the ability to overlay this with a 24 gauge sheet metal. We could have this clear, we could rust this, it could be cold rolled steel, it could be vintage skin that is bonderized so it doesn't rust. There's a lot of different things you can do with metal overlays. We can fold it over, get a really nice crisp seam to it, and give a lot of certainty to the game of these overlays. So I really, again, want to give a shout out to Luke because he didn't give away his secrets. He made me work for him, but he did help inspire me, and I'll say that. And his stuff down there with, I think it's door 41. I have to reference that, but it's tight and looks awesome. So that's the inspiration. You know, as we go across, I'm just going to do kind of a pull test on this. This is the Titebond subfloor. I have yet to put any of this outside. That would be the next step, is to run this outside, leave it outside in our weather. We're up in the mountains, 9,000, 7,000 feet. And it gets hot, it gets cold, it gets wet, freezes. The Titebond subfloor pulled off pretty easy, really. And this stuff's still a little wet. This stuff's been curing out for days now. So this just, to me, does not do much to bond to metal. The Titebond subfloor fails for bonding metal. The 3X Premium, see, there's something that's better. This 3X Premium is actually what we use for our wood overlays. So it's a little bit better. You can see that it's not coming. So a better tool with leverage. And now we get popping decent. So again, that was better, and it's still a little tacky on the back. It does take a while to cure out. So that was better, maybe not ideal. But the PL Premium is actually a subfloor adhesive that is rated to bond to metal. It's one of the only ones out there. This is the 550 polyurethane adhesive. So what I'm noticing is it's starting to pull up already with this. So I'm using just a flexible putty knife. Flexible putty knife pulled off that subfloor really easy. I needed to use the crowbar for this next one. This thing is now supposedly an industrial adhesive. 3M sent me this just to trial and error. And it's still super gooey. Again, a light bond to it. I'm not impressed. Last but not least is this contact adhesive. Got under it there. So let's see how this pulls. This is actually pulling kind of easy too. There is a nice bond there. So this stuff is interesting, and spoiler alert, this is what we really end up using, 1357 contact adhesive. I do have some good trust with this, and we are starting to get this out into the field to really test it long term, and we generally back up anything that we put out there. So the contact adhesive is nice. You can put a layer on one side, a little layer on the other side. As soon as they touch, they start bonding. So what I noticed in here, obviously there's a clean shear off of this from the pull test. It does pop off even with fingers, so that's a little weaker than I'd really love. We've tested this a number of times. When we get the fold over on either side of the panel, it actually creates a pretty good bond, I will say. And we've really had to take some time and effort into destroying some of this. So over time, we'll run probably more of this. We've got a black door going in that I believe is the south face, so that's going to heat up a lot in our high altitude sun. And I want to make sure that this adhesive is going to maintain a bond through, I don't know, close to 200 degree surface temp down to a negative 20 degree surface in the winters. It's drastic. So at any rate, that's a little tidbit on metal overlays. We'll do some more. If you have thoughts, I love this R&D stuff. So shoot them at me. Let me know what you want to see, and I'll fill them into the queue, and we'll just keep running this stuff and up in the level of the industry over and over again. Thanks so much for checking us out.